Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. It's David Hodge. Welcome. Today's topic is the Holocaust. All right, brothers and sisters. The Holocaust, which was murder, rape, genocide, torture, torment, experimentation, complete misery and oppression. This is our true experience, brothers and sisters. But they minimize it, they whitewash it, and call it slavery, which is not a good definition of our true experience, because it leaves out the affliction we suffered, which is 99% of our experience that they leave out. They only cover the 1% of our experience, which is the economic side of it, which is maximum profit, minimum overhead, meaning they fully utilize you for their own gain and receiving max profit, like giving us the scraps, pennies on the dollar, the bare minimum, giving you just enough to survive, turning you into a garbage disposal, right? Feeding you garbage that they would just get rid of, toss out, feeding us shitlings, you see? Feeding you pig shit as a form of payment for building and making them wealthy, right? So, if you believe what they're telling you, these devils, massa, then you believe that our experience was only slavery. But it was not only just so-called slavery, right? Which they tell you that you were a slave, no good, sinful, wicked, given a second chance at life by the hands of these devils, these Caucasians, right? They brought you here to this land in this system that practiced owning blacks, no good blacks, worthless slaves, who's expected to work tirelessly, enduring exhausting labors and being restricted freedom, being owned legally by others, right? By Caucasian people by law, being enslaved, held and owned as human chattel or property of the United States of America in bondage, being held, being captured as uncivilized savages and taken to this nation that's blessed by God himself, right? And given an opportunity that God himself wouldn't give you according to these devils, you see? So they have taken you from your own environment and brought you here, placing you on plantations, took your names away from you and replaced them with massa's name, with their names, you see, to show ownership of you. You see, however, these Caucasian devils, these devils legally owned you. You were under their control, under their rule, you see, under what they tell you to do, under their law, underneath their thumb, being forced to work and obey their authority, right? Obey their every command, forced into servitude with little as pay, and given the bare minimum in the form that they chose. You see? And no matter how exhausted you were, how tired, how sleepy, how weak you felt, how sick you was, you were forbidden to quit your services. You see? And that's what they tell you, that's our experience. Just slavery, which they utilize that to minimize it, to downplay it. Complete whitewash. You see, to dumb down our experience, to keep you under their control, keep you from finding out the truth, keep you programmed, prevent you from thinking. You see, keep you from connecting yourself to the people enslaved and inflicted in the Bible. You see, making you not aware that your enemies who did these things to you are right there directly in front of you, right? These devils programming you to love them. You see, programming you to love the same people who raped and murdered your ancestors, making you believe that you're free, but you never left. You still here in the land of your imprisonment, being held as prisoners with the same people who has and still is oppressing you and plotting your death day by day with the same agenda, which is to wipe you completely out, take you completely out of existence. That's why they're not telling you about this. That's why they call it a theory. That's why they play around with it. You see? Because why would they tell you? What sense would that make, brothers and sisters? If you are an enemy and you're sleeping, wouldn't it be easier to allow you to sleep than wake up an enemy? Right? It's easier to take out an enemy while he's sleeping, right? So just keep him in that condition. Keep him unaware of his danger. Keep him programmed. Keep him within the programming. You see? And that's what they've done. Turned our people into programmed Negro bots. You see? Which is a human robot programmed by these devils, by massa, and we're still programmed and conditioned today. You see? So our brothers and sisters don't know our true experience, which was total affliction. You see? Like I explained, our true experience was more than just slavery. That was 1%, but the other 99% was murder, was rape, was genocide, oppression, deception. We were tormented, tortured, abused, beaten, whipped, fed like pigs, fed pig shit, fed in troughs, treated like animals, stripped of all knowledge, exploited and used up, experimented on without drugs, without anesthesia. We were sodomized, we were castrated, dismembered. Brothers and sisters, you gotta look up these things. Look up what I am explaining, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some things together and I'm gonna give you a visual, because even with me saying these things, it just don't help. It don't paint that vivid picture that I'm trying to paint for you, but I'm still telling you what they've done, because they want you just to believe that it was just slavery, but it was not. It was horror. It was torture. It was torment. They dismantled us. They hung us. They starved us. They cut us open. They peeled us alive. They gutted us. They cooked us. They cooked us alive. You see? They burnt you alive, brothers and sisters. Made you unrecognizable. Took your children, caged them, and used them as gator bait. Fed your children to gators. Used your children as sex objects and toys. Raped our whole families. Used our skin and hair to make puppets. You see? Chopped our heads off and played nigga ball. And that's why, and you got our people out here playing sports and don't realize that it's a direct insult to your experience. A slap in the face. And that's what they're doing out here. And our people don't realize that these devils have completely dehumanized us past imaginable. This is our true experience, which they don't speak about, which they don't talk about, which they don't cover. You see? Their main objective is to make sure that you're a good nigga, a good house Negro, or not, excuse that term, but it's a Negro bot. The house Negroes are their black-faced children from the rape of the black woman during the Holocaust. They were forced to produce masses black-faced children. Children that were not ours. Masses children who looked like me and you, but they were not us. They were masses children, wolves in sheep clothing, the same ones that were just like Massa, but they were in your skin, helping Massa beat you to death. The ones in the house living better than you, the ones that was getting better treatment, getting better scraps. You see, the ones that were treated different than you. You see, they was the examples. They were the preachers. You see, they were the ones that they used to manipulate us to be good niggas, to be just like masses, demons, house Negroes. You see, to be just like them. You see, they the definition of what it takes to be a good nigga, to go to heaven, to make it to heaven, to get close to making it to heaven. If you want to be a good nigga, you act just like him. You see, they're the role models. They were the examples. They're the ones you're supposed to look up to. Don't worry about what. Don't worry about that. Just make sure you do good, boy. Make sure you work harder. You see? Using trinkets and rewards over our head. You see? They didn't allow you to sleep with your women. They didn't allow you to so-called jump the broom. All this spooky stuff, right? All this stuff that they explained to you that they allowed you to do. If they were trying to commit genocide on you, what business would they have allowing you to procreate with your women? They didn't let you. They had us sleeping in different shelters or confined areas that we were sleeping on top of one another, separated, men from women. You see? The men had to sleep in one shelter and the women had to sleep in another shelter or shed or a confined small area with no beds, no this, no that, no comfort, no nothing, no bathroom. You had to defecate and urinate on top of one another. You understand? You didn't get fed luxury. You were fed shit. And that was what you needed to produce masses reality. You understand? And they had you believing one day if you be a good nigga, you can make it in masses' house just like they're demons. But you can't because you're not masses' children. Brothers and sisters. So this is our true experience. It was horror. It was horror. It was horror, brothers and sisters. But they tell you otherwise. They tell you it was slavery. But that was 1%. And the other 99% is the part they don't speak about, which was total affliction, which was the Holocaust, which is what they did is what's everything you see in the world is revolved around what they did to you. affliction and servitude for 400 years. And this is what they done. Now they must pay for. And that's why they're under judgment. That's why you see everything going the way it's going in the world, because everybody who's responsible for our torment and torture and misery and complete horror, this is an imbalance that has to be fixed. You see? And this is what happened to us is right. Let's just keep it at that. What they did to us, everyone must suffer. Everyone who had a helping hand in our destruction must suffer the consequence of their actions. And that's why you see what's taking place in the world is centered around what they did to you, because everybody shitted on us, and now it's our turn to get vengeance, which is the will of Allah, to do unto them as was done to you. It ain't about forgiving nobody, because it said wrath, vengeance, retaliation. It says you did this, and this is what we're going to do. Ain't about holding hands and forgiving and staying in the lane of your imprisonment and all that. No, it says war. It says you will receive what's due to you. Judgment, consequence. And now everything you see taking place is a consequence of their actions. The consequence of our true experience, which is the Holocaust. So when they ask you, when they try to hit you with that disrespectful title, slavery, you tell them it was the Holocaust. It's not called slavery. That's 1%. The other 99% was horror. So get it right, because they don't disrespect the Holocaust. And they went through less than we did. And they didn't go through nearly as much as we did. And the reason why they went through it was because they called that upon themselves. You see, but we didn't do that. They did that to us, and we did nothing. But that's another topic, brothers and sisters. We brought them into existence, and this is what they did to us. So we here to set the record straight. It was horror. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I'm going to bring this to a close. Thank you for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum.